Hello there, everyone. Just in case you haven't gotten enough of my shitty umbrella.
I don't know if anybody else had an idea. This is the back entrance. The courtroom is right there, 5 feet away. The front entrance is obviously over that way where everybody's coming and going. I don't know if you guys think we should do the...
Is this the table? Oh, the table.
Nice.
My umbrella sucks.
Might collect a little.
No, I like...
When you join Antifa, you have to break the rules. Every establishment, every preconceived notion of what should be. You gotta break it, that includes wearing the umbrella upside down.
Yeah, and having donuts in the rain.
Okay.
You got a press pass? Well, shit, I need one of those.
Yeah, you do.
I do need one of those. Otherwise, they might just straight up kill me tomorrow in Weatherford. But that's okay.
Not okay.
I don't want to live anyway. Joke's on them.
Is this what we're thinking of setting up?
No, up here.
Let's set up the table.
It's so funny.
You're not on camera, don't worry.
Yesterday was so nice.
I know, right?
Well, the one cop that's up there has already given me the side eye for being here, so.
Because of your umbrella.
I was thinking maybe it was more the filming, but
No, I think it's the umbrella.
definitely the umbrella. He'll get used to it.
We were talking about the run, the campaign.
What is it?
They gonna let us stay here?
local progressives running for city council.
Some people in the front and some people in the back.
That depends on, not with this number of people.
No, okay. They don't never take up the group.
You said, so like a protest? I was like, not necessarily.
That's up to you.
Yeah, right?
It's up to you, bro.
We just need a topic.
Yeah, true. We make it easy for a protest. But, whatever. I think, huh?
Is David out here already?
Yeah, he said he's parking right now. What do y'all think? Anybody have any ideas or thoughts about whether we should do it back here or over there? I think we should do it over there.
I think, yeah, for
More
like
visibility.
If they try to make us move, then we can come back here and get loud and rowdy.
Is this where the people can see us at?
They can't see, but they can hear. You remember the courtroom's right there.
I think once the banner is here, we can really actually like, put the
But
image
I
up
guess
there.
it's a congregate right here. We just like to move here.
Because, like, if we're gonna be the front, I feel like it's gotta be safe for the barrier, the people with the banner. Then they make us move, then we come back out here, they make us come down the steps, we just get louder. I think it makes sense to have like tags. Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
You know, we talk about grass a lot on this stream, but I don't think we ever talk about these bushes. These are some nice bushes. Even if there's a little bit of trash hidden right there, you know. Overall, I think these are some nice bushes.
No, they just scoping out the area.
So I gotta know. Press pass.
Oh, right on.
So metro. That is so metro.
So Metro, baby.
Why did I not think of that?
So Metro, baby.
Radio. Nice. I actually used to be in radio myself.
I think they're gonna send out the goon.
They're sending out the boom.
Now they're gonna send out the lady.
What's that?
Our speaker went up that way. He'll be right back. He'll address you. Somebody get Ryan.
You guys here for protesting?
Ryan will be here in a minute to address
Okay, I do understand, but regardless if he's coming in a minute, you
He
guys
has to speak to
move
you.
off of this way, with this right, you can't protest right here.
Like that?
Excuse me, you guys can't protest right here, you can't protest right here, you guys have to leave. Now, whether you guys want to protest in the parking lot, you can, but it cannot be in front of the store. I'm because you can. You have freedom over there, out here. You're right in front of the building. I'm just telling you what my supervisor told me to tell you guys what you guys have to do.
From here?
Yes, sir.
Where can we start?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just told to tell you guys you can be right here.
Could I speak to the supervisor there, Kim?
Sure you can.
And already they're trying to tell us to move. But this man, he pulled an ultimate Karen.
I do have to ask you guys to mask up so that you can save your people and ours as well. Okay?
Don't worry, we're not Trump supporters.
Heavy lift right there.
Oh, that's a camera. I was trying to figure out what that bulge was.
It's hard though when you job needs people's dead, you know? Upholding institutions that need people's dead. You know, there's a lot of other jobs out there. I said it's hard to do the job when it's taking the buildings that need people's die.
Well, the thing about it is, I have 4 children at home, and I'm going through the same things that a lot of people are going through. And it's a lot of other things that can be done without you not paying your rent. So I'm going to continue to do my job to make sure that I don't have to be in these people's situations. You know, you can protest it, but if you're not handicapped, you can get out and go to work. I'm taking the chance of my life everywhere too. So it's the same way.
I understand.
I understand what you're saying, but all at the same time, I'm not protecting a building. I'm doing a job. I'm protecting people inside. The customers that do have to come in here and go to court for eviction.
I'll show you our little table here.
What are we doing?
Well, we're standing here waiting for the supervisor to come out.
And then what?
I think this Ryan fellow is going to speak with the supervisor.
Okay.
And then we are going to see if we truly have to move or not.
Oh, okay.
Basically, they're saying us we can't be in front of the door, but they're not citing a legal precedent that we can't, just that the supervisor said so. So, we're speaking directly to the supervisor.
Interesting.
We're not really in front of the door. We're on this. Got it.
This is public property, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hello, Silver Server T. Why did it have to rain?
I know, it's getting my feet wet.
Oh, I'm not worried about my feet.
I got this, man.
Yeah.
I got clear tape around it.
Smart.
You're more prepared than I am. I don't think the supervisor's coming out.
I think they might be. Oh, wait, are we waiting for Cooper to get here?
Yes, we are. I think I just saw somebody pull up with a big red and white umbrella. I'm not sure, but they might be on their way.
Yep, good to see people in the rain. This is about the first time I've used an umbrella in like the last 30 years. So I'm doing it to keep my electronic equipment safe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that supervisor's coming, boss.
Hey, that's their loss, not mine. We're not moving. She said, I would appreciate it if you could move. Well, you know, sometimes we all don't get it.
That's not how protests work.
People have a right to assemble,
Right?
as long as they're not being disrupted.
I mean, I
We have a
appreciate
right
your
to-
kindness, but sorry.
We have a right to be here. Good morning.
Hey.
Hey.
All right.
Ain't no party like a backdoor party, because a backdoor party don't stop till the supervisor gets here.
Do we want to move the table closer to that right under this?
Yeah, muscle pain tomorrow, probably. By standing out in this rain by Japanese anime logic, I would have a cold. The Baham bag.
Oh, no, no problem. Hey there, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Fine.
Good
Oh, okay, awesome.
They're gonna get soaked.
You need a whole canopy.
I'm gonna go grab the megaphone too.
Be free, my megaphone man. Also, I want to say that that is an adorable umbrella. Hey, fucking look at that. Fucking look at this umbrella. That's just cats and dogs. It's raining cats and dogs. I get it.
We're having a press conference discussing the implications that these evictions have and the number of deaths that they cause. So this is not a protest. If you want to think of it as a protest, that's fine. I guess that's one way to think of it. This is a press conference to let the public know, let the media know exactly what's going on in this courthouse, JP Court 1-1, right? We're Dallas Stops Evictions. We've been working with the last 6 months with tenants and renters throughout the city of Dallas. And it's no accident that 95% of the evictions that we deal with come through this court. There's a reason why landlords are incentivized to come file evictions through this court, because they know they have a high victory rate. Now, I don't know if you read the article that came out a few weeks ago on NPR that talked about the number of deaths that have been increased during the COVID deaths because of the evictions in the state of Texas. There's been 4,000 more deaths, 4,000 extra deaths from coronavirus because people have been evicted in this place, meaning they have to leave their house, either go into a hotel, go live with family, or become homeless. All of these things lead to death. Now, what we wanted to do was lawfully assemble with our organization.
And that's fine. I have no issue with it. You just make sure you're not blocking anybody else's walk. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Got the banner. Y'all want to kind of get a little closer in together? Come on.
Look at that. His name like a food cat. His name is Cat. Did y'all get the megaphone?
Who's speaking second?
David's going to get it right now.
I can go. Who's speaking after me? Speaking first, bro.
Well, the supervisor handled that pretty nicely.
Did anybody want to go last from the Dallas Constitution? Hey, Rod, I was going to go only two questions. Yeah, I got the demand. Yeah. I'll take it. Yeah, I was hanging on it, but then I was Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. The Dallas Stops Evictions Coalition are strategically gathered here today, Friday, December 11th at JP Court 1-1 to demand that Judge Thomas Jones on all planned evictions and CDC declaration hearings effective immediately. We, the concerned tenants of Dallas, understand that the only way to truly prevent the spread of COVID-19 is for families to stay in the house. With record spikes in COVID cases and deaths, many businesses are being forced to shut down, leaving workers out of a paycheck and no income. Without said income, it is impossible for one to pay their rent. And when they get behind on their rent, the chances of them ending up here, JP Court 1-1, are very high. This is not by accident. Clearly, these landlords are aware of the fact that when they file an eviction in this courthouse, the chances of them winning are very high.
That's right.
And we're here to stop that.
That's right.
We're here to demand that the city of Dallas, Judge Thomas Jones, stop all eviction hearings. We demand the city of Dallas, Mayor Eric Johnson, Judge Clay Jenkins to reinstate the local moratorium and to halt all evictions effective for 60 days.
That's right. Right on. All power to the people.
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 We stand here today to bring awareness to the oppressors of the poor, Judge Thomas Jones, and all those who evict the poor and the oppressed. Housing is a human right.
Yep.
Repeat after me. Housing is a human right.
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 Dogs have housing. Birds have housing. has a right to housing. All power to the people.
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 I stand here today with DSC and all the people, all the common working class people, to say no to the oppressors of the poor, like Judge Thomas Rose, who is a puppet for the establishment. All people deserve housing. No one should be evicted in the time of COVID. Housing is a human right.
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 Dogs have housing. Birds have housing. But why is it that someone like Judge Thomas Jones, who has 90% of the evictions in his court, is a puppet for the oppressor? They sent a black woman out here, Miss Frazier, to appease for Judge Thomas Rose. Don't tell us when I'm just doing my job. What a hellified job you have, miss. You're working for the poor and the oppressed. Because guess what? If you lose your job, you're going to be standing in that courtroom. Poverty does not discriminate. COVID does not discriminate. But who is discriminating is Judge Thomas Jones. When I was in this courtroom, all I saw was poor black women being put on the street. 98% of the evictions are for the landlord. And I want to call these people out, like slumlords. Natasha Starr and Ernest Eugene Hunt Jr., who are slumlords. I want to call out these people that are inside of this building that are going through this terroristic threat of eviction, anxiety, worried about what your children are going to sleep at night, worried about when they come. The people have a right to assemble. The people have a right to express themselves. I pay taxes, so I have a right to stand here. I have a right to say what I want to say. And all those black officers that are in there, you are puppets for the establishment. You are tools for the oppressor. You will put your own mama outside. You will put your own sister outside to go with the status quo. But remember this. You are a tool of the bourgeoisie. You are just as worse as a colonizer. So, to all those that are in the eviction court, understand you're not alone. We understand the residue and the mental trauma of eviction. We understand that these people that wear these badges are the descendants of slave catchers, the paddy rollers, and they do their job without empathy or care. Because every day they come to work and they go around and they subside and seeing poor black people being put on the curb. Again, all power to the people.
All power to the people.
You see it? And down with the pig establishment.
Down with the pig establishment.
Justice Thomas Jones. We are gathered here today to speak truth to power on behalf of Dallas's working families. A true enforcement of the moratorium on evictions is urgently needed. We rise in support of it because it is an urgently needed lifeline for working families, as COVID has devastated its impact on millions of lives and livelihoods across our city and America. Since the eviction moratorium was put in place, you have evicted one too many families, and we're here to say that we've had enough.
That's right, enough.
As we know, J.P. Jones, there's an affordable housing crisis in America, and this was going on long before COVID.
That's right.
It was created by greedy landlords
That's
and
right.
the government's defunding of our public housing communities, and it has now been exacerbated by COVID.
That's right.
Before the crisis, a quarter of America's renters paid over half of their income in rent.
That's right.
And they're one financial emergency away from eviction and homelessness.
That's right.
And for many, COVID-19 was that one emergency.
That's right.
Instead of holding slumlords accountable to the moratorium on evictions during this crisis,
That's right.
you have allowed slumlords to operate with impunity
That's right.
across the city, living conditions unsafe and unlivable and unaffordable. is that we cannot take you seriously when you refer to your courtroom as the people's court.
That's right.
It is a joke.
That's right.
You sure don't seem to care too much about the people when you rule to remove families from their homes.
That's right.
And force them into the streets where they struggle to find a dry,
That's
safe,
right.
and warm place to sleep.
That's right.
You cannot refer to your court as the people's court.
That's right.
When you place the profit of a few landlords over the safety and security of the many families you forcibly remove from their homes.
That's right.
You cannot be for the people and be for profit at the same time.
That's right.
We are here today because we want you to do your job.
That's right.
And stand up for the people who elected you into this office.
That's right.
If you do not, we will do what is necessary to ensure that you lose your seat.
That's right.
Which seems to be the only thing you elected officials care about these days.
Vote his ass out.
You gotta go.
Yep.
JP,
You gotta go.
You gotta go.
Hey ho, you gotta go!
Hey ho, you gotta go.
Hey ho, you gotta go!
Hey ho, you gotta go.
Hey ho, you gotta go! Hey ho, you gotta go! Hey ho, you gotta go! Hey ho, you gotta go!
Hey ho, you gotta go.
Power to the people.
All power to the people!
You've been sitting on that bench since 1978. All power to the people.
All power to the people!
And down with the pig bourgeoisie.
And down with the big bourgeoisie!
Right.
You puppets.
Yeah, we hold it.
Hello. Okay, y'all know who we are. Dallas Stops Evictions. We've been working out here for a little bit. We're a citywide tenant union working to uplift tenants' voices, support them in their struggle against the landlord, the unjust court system, and the system that enables them both, capitalism. That system is represented today by Thomas Jones, who has been evicting tenants out of their homes and onto the streets. Thomas Jones and that corrupt system are emboldened by the capitalist system, which puts the rights of private property to accumulate wealth for those who own it over the rights of the people to housing and health. Capitalism is the system pushing tenants out of their homes. It's the system that has made this pandemic worse by prioritizing profits, and it's a system that we must dismantle. We have compiled a short list of demands for the city to address. These demands are born out of the experiences and conversations that we have cultivated over the last few months, talking to hundreds of Dallas tenants, seeing the slum-like conditions slumlords keep, and the evictions plaguing the city firsthand. We have seen the dangerous living conditions, the mental toll eviction and unemployment take on people's health, and the deadly sweeps of houseless people's property. We have worked with the people, struggled alongside them, and listened to them. Today we are presenting their demands as actions the city must take to save lives now. The city must stop all evictions. Evictions destroy lives. Leave family vulnerable.
That man's wearing my jacket.
Pandemic, and the studies have shown directly leads to death during this pandemic.
That's right.
Stop all evictions now and rehouse those evicted.
Yep.
The city must cancel all rents. Landlords have gotten a bailout already.
That's right.
That bailout should be used to cancel all rents for tenants across the city. Tenants are months behind on rent, having to choose between food, medicine, and a roof over their head. Cancel all rents.
Yep. Cancel all rent.
The city must hold all slumlords accountable for the dangerous conditions they force tenants to live in. Tenants must be held, or landlords must be held financially responsible for each day they let even one tenant live in dangerous conditions. This includes flooding, leaks, black mold, no AC in the summer and heating in the winter, pest infestations, rats, like Olinka was saying. Hold slumlords accountable now. The city must seize all suites of homeless encampments and house all the homeless that in the thousands of vacant dwellings across the city. Suites destroy shelters, throw away important documents and necessities, fit the police out of their homes. Also, house them all in the thousands of vacant apartments across the city. We as a city have the capacity to house every single person a few times over. The time for that is now. Dallas tenants demand safe and affordable housing for all, an end to landlordism, and an end to homelessness. Dallas tenants demand dignity and respect Dallas tenants are going to fight for that dignity by any means necessary.
By any means necessary.
All power to the people.
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 Down with the pimp bourgeoisie. Down with the pimp bourgeoisie.
Judge Jones, you have blood on your hands.
Judge Jones, you have blood on your hands.
Stop the evictions.
Stop the evictions.
Cancel the rents.
Cancel the rents.
Stop the sweeps.
Stop the sweeps.
Anybody else want to speak?
All right. Some estimate 20 to 25,000 people will become homeless per the CDC eviction moratorium ending in January. This is a compounding public health crisis.
That's right.
Not only do you have a pandemic going on, coronavirus has affected all of our lives, disproportionately black and brown communities.
That's right.
We have to hold these people accountable.
That's right.
We elected them to take care of us in times of need,
That's right.
and this is one of those times.
That's right.
The pandemic, the moratorium ending on evictions, will cause death.
That's right.
And it's always on the backs of the brown and black working class.
That's right.
Throughout history, we have constantly been working for progress
That's right.
and have been halted by the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
We as a collective, we as the people, we as the community must take the power.
That's right.
The only way we do that is by running in these positions.
That's right.
These elected positions that we hold these people to, that we think we have the same values, the same morals, the things that we think you would talk to somebody on a level of humanity, that you could understand a compounding health crisis like the pandemic, like evictions.
That's right.
That you would have some type of empathy. That you would say, what I'm doing here in my courts, the people that I'm evicting look like me,
That's
work
right.
9 to 5 like me,
That's right.
are constantly struggling every day like me.
That's right.
I just got off. I work at the post office at night.
Right.
I'm here because this has to stop. And it's going to take the collective of people. This Dallas Stops Evictions, this organization
Right.
has empowered me
That's right.
to come give up my time so that you could fight for people that look like you, for people that don't look like you, for the oppressed. This is your opportunity. Check out Dallas Stops Evictions, please.
That's right.
What do we want? Change. And housing.
And Judge Thomas Jones gone.
And Judge Thomas Jones gone.
That's right.
Let's do housing. What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
What do we want?
Housing.
That's right. All power to the people.
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 All power to the oppressed people.
All power to the oppressed people.
All power to the working class people.
All power to the working class people.
All right, I'm gonna give it up to somebody. Thank y'all.
Housing is a human right.
All right.
Housing is a human right. All right.
Housing is a human right, all right, all right, all right. Housing is a human right, all right, all right, all right.
Housing is a human
It's a good looking bush, I know. This is a good chant,
Housing
too.
is a human right, all right, all right, all right.
Housing is a human right. All right.
Housing is a human right, all right, all right, all right. Since March, thousands of people have been kicked out of their homes in the city of Dallas.
That's right.
Why? Due to the state and the city's decision to lift the moratorium. That's why. Which is why we, Dallas Stops Evictions, demand that the city of Dallas reinstates the local moratorium and to stop all evictions. Researchers estimated that lifting the moratorium, this is in Texas, by the way. Researchers have estimated that lifting the moratorium could have resulted in between 365,200 and 502,000
Thank you,
excess
C3.
coronavirus cases, between 8,900 and 12,500 excess deaths, an average of 400,000 cases and 10,000 deaths. Our local elected officials, JP judges, and these cruel landlords all have blood on their hands.
Blood on our hands.
Blood, that's right. Killers. Killers, that's what y'all are. Murderers. Murder. That's what an eviction is. It's murder. You kick someone out on the street when they don't have anywhere to go. That's violence. That's murder.
That's murder.
Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones,
Stop evicting us from our homes.
I said it. You got blood on your hands. That's
You
what
have
you got. You
blood
go
on
to
your
sleep.
hands.
You go to sleep knowing that at night. You got.
Officer Fletcher, you have Officer Frazier, you have blood on your head.
Now, everybody who's in there facing an eviction, there are resources out there to prevent that eviction. This moratorium expires December 34th, and it is a weak moratorium with that. But us Dallas Stops Evictions are here to help you through that process, help you in that courtroom where everything is set against you, where Judge Jones, the landlords, and all appointed lawyers are there to make sure you get put out on the street.
That's right.
That's what they get paid to do.
That's right.
We don't get paid to do this, right?
That's right.
I'm missing work because of this. I'm missing out on a paycheck because of this to make sure that nobody else gets put out on the street. Now, Judge Jones, one more time, stop evicting us from our homes.
Hey, Judge Jones,
Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones,
stop evicting us from our homes.
When you go in that courtroom, it's like Richard Pryor said, there's no justice, there's just us. All those people that are in that courtroom today are poor and oppressed people, except for a fat white lady in the Johnny Cash shirt who keeps saying, no, 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 y'all go somewhere else. We know that in this country, for the past 500 years,
The news
that
has
the poor
finally
and
arrived.
oppressed, somehow, some way, are going to see a courtroom are going to be entangled with criminal justice. It is a downright dirty shame that a black elected official like Judge Thomas Rose would be the very hand that would evict people that look like his mama and his wife.
And his daughter.
And his daughter. All your constables are black people. Y'all are implicit. Y'all are implicit in this. When you go home at night, you lay down in your comfortable bed, knowing how many black people have been run through that mill, how many black women, probably your friends and your family, have went into that courtroom coming out without any homes of their children. In Detroit, there were so many black women that were being evicted, they had to set up a daycare in the eviction courts. You are implicit in this. Officer Frazier, I'm calling you out. They sent you out as a messenger. Well, you should have been the main one saying, I'm not going out there. They sent a woman out there. They didn't have the balls to have a man come out and address us.
right.
They
That's
sent
right.
you.
Coward.
So now I'm going to address you as a black woman. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Shame.
Regardless of what type of job you got, you are a puppet for the establishment. You are just as guilty as Donald Trump,
Yep.
who knew that COVID-19 was here.
Yup.
You are implicit, the one with the brains. You are a slave catcher too. All of you are. Your supervisor, who is a female, all of you are. You're complicit. You have blood on your hands. How shoes and I'm cold. Do you know the trauma that comes with these evictions? No, you don't. To have people come in your house and touch your things and put them on the sidewalk. To look at your children and not be able to tell them where they're going to go. To see your family and your community and everything that you work for be destroyed. Post-traumatic stress disorder. But yet you complicit in it and you shake your head and you get a paycheck that's covered in blood. And the sweat of the poor and the oppressed. But you think it's cool. You think it's fine. But it's not. So I'm drilling in on your ass today. Because you came out. And any time that you work for the oppressor, you are just as guilty as any other. You're just as guilty as Judge Jones. So I'm not letting up off your ass, Officer Frazier, because you're complicit. All you who work in this eviction court are complicit in the death of thousands and thousands of people.
Got the news.
You're complicit in the trauma of multiple generations. You're complicit in upending people in their homes. You're complicit. You're complicit as you stand there and you direct people into that courtroom of death. Death is their way of life. Death for their families. The same people that you're sending to out on the sidewalk could die of COVID next week. You're complicit in all of this. This poor woman coming in this courtroom. You're complicit in all of this. You're guilty in all of this. There is no sanctity in this. There is nothing good about poor people having to come to this hell home and being told that they have to leave their homes. You're complicit in all of this. And your badge won't save your ass. Because eventually, you're going to have to fall down here with the rest of us. You think being part of the petty bourgeoisie is a good thing? Nothing will save you because guess what? You still got a black skin. You 3/5 in this country. And the one with the blonde braids, looking like a shepherd, looking like a pony, looking like My Little Pony, yeah, I'm calling you. You're complicit in this. Because ain't shit you can do to me because I have a right to assemble.
Her name is Fluttershy.
You're complicit in the death of people. You're complicit in putting poor families on the curb. You're complicit in all of it. And how do we find you? We find you guilty. How do we find you? 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 Guilty. Of putting poor and oppressed people on the curb. How shame of you. Your mama should be shaming you. You call yourself a black woman, you're not even worthy of that category. You ain't this female. Y'all are slave catchers. All power to the people.
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 And get you a better waist trainer, Miss Frazier.
Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey.
The press is here.
Oh, press. Party don't need more press.
Kill them all, put them on arrest.
Yeah!
Walk in bulletproof face.
We got you on camera. We got you on camera.
Judge Jones and all his constable lackeys have blood on their hands. That's right. What are they known for?
kicking people out onto the street. That's what they're known for. That's what that badge represents. Nothing else. You don't protect the people. You're against the people. You lied to me straight to my face saying, I'm here to protect the people. That's not what you do. That's not what you do. You protect property. You protect the property of landlords by making sure they can evict whoever they want, whenever they want. That's how it works. That's how this system works, right? If you got the money and you can pay to file an eviction, then that person will get evicted. It's about as simple as that. There's no fight they can put up against it. That courtroom is a sham. That courtroom is fake. Fake. It is not for the people. It is against the people. That's exactly what y'all are. You're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. All right? And history will absolve y'all. We'll look back at this 50 years from now, looking at the death tolls caused from... We're already looking at it. We're already looking at it. The studies are out that shows the number of deaths linked to the number of evictions. And you're a part of it. You're complicit in it, as my sister Olinka said. Complicit. Blood is on your hands already. Just know that. And we're fed up. The people are fed up.
That's right.
The more you put people out on the streets, the larger this crowd will get out here.
That's right.
The larger it'll get. We're fed up. We're not going to let you kill us anymore.
That's right.
We're not going to let you kill us. We're going to fight back. And we're going to fight back hard.
That's right. We'll be back with 1,000 more like us. You can't cockroach, you can't hide elders.
The homeless population is going to quadruple 3 weeks from now. It's going to be all your fault.
That's right.
The homeless population will quadruple within 3 weeks from now, and it will all be your fault. All of it.
Your fault. Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
How do we find them?
Guilty.
You complicit in the death and demise of whole families.
Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey.
Judge Dredd.
Everybody say hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
I'm sorry, I'm terrified right now because I've never spoken at a rally or anything. I'm really moved by what's going on here. I really want to talk to you people, the amazing organizers that are here. I don't want to talk to these people because they don't give a shit.
Nope.
We've talked a lot. We've talked a lot about, we all know that this addiction crisis is disproportionately impacting communities of color. I think we need to be more specific and talk about that black women are disproportionately
someone else just said
addicted
Judge,
higher than any other demographic.
I thought I was going to finish it with like,
this is black moms.
shoot these
Black moms
evictors
who
in the
have
head.
led the fight for
And then I
Black
thought
Lives
better of
Matter
it.
in this country for years.
Absolutely.
They're thrown out of their home and they don't give a shit.
Absolutely not.
More children, statistically, this is a fact, more children are being evicted during this pandemic than adults. Numerically, they don't give a shit.
Nope.
I moved from Boston and I worked with a tenant who was renting in Providence and was evicted from his home. He reached out to the nonprofit. He reached out to legal aid. He reached out to his local tenants union. He got evicted and fucking killed himself. That is happening to hundreds of people.
That's right.
And they don't give a shit.
Yep.
They don't.
People are saying that we're in the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. In the Great Depression, 70,000 people in New York City were returned to their homes through direct action tactics.
That's right.
Organized red strikes of thousands of people and demonstrations of thousands of people putting people back in their homes.
That's right.
If they don't give a shit, I think we have to start taking shit.
That's
Yep.
right. Yep.
We have to take back the power from the landlords
That's right.
and from the housing court. If they gave a shit, they would leave their desk.
Yep.
I think there are a couple more things I wanted to say. I'm going to check.
Right on.
You got it.
Right on, yeah.
Keep on speaking. Truth to power.
That's right.
Yeah. That's so true. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if people heard about this stimulus check shit that they're going to about to give another bailout to the corporation without cutting a stimulus check for working people, which is what we need the most. Joe Biden's housing policy is a tax credit for homeowners. Who's fucking excited to use their tax credit to buy their first home? Has absolutely no plan to help renters who 6.5 million could have eviction filings on January 1st.
That's right. Yep. The coldest day of the year.
Billionaires in this country have made $1 trillion. They had to invent a new word, centibillionaire. With the astronomical wealth that Jeff Bezos has made off of this pandemic, 8 million people have fallen into poverty, and up to 40 million could be evicted in this crisis.
That's right.
I think that what we need is truly mass organizing like we saw in the 1930s, because we've said it a million times. We have the power. We have more power than they do when we're organized, and I think that the first step in that is that we have to bring everything that we've been talking about to the hallways of our building, to the courtyard of our building, to our workplaces, and turn this into a truly mass movement where every single one of us is organized for ourselves and our neighbors and the working class. That's all.
All power to the people.
All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people.
Hi. So I have something to say. I drive around Dallas a lot, and I notice all of these new apartment buildings popping up, and all of these empty office buildings that are going out of business, and these malls that are being destroyed because they're no longer in use. Why can't we use those for housing?
Right.
Is it because Dallas doesn't have enough money? I know that is not the case. I know that is not the case. Dallas has enough money because they just decided to install one of the world's largest playground areas downtown. I don't remember exactly how much it cost, but it was more than enough to house the citizens of Dallas that are currently on the streets.
10 million.
So why are we not doing this? It's greed. No one wants to help each other because they want money. We have more than enough space. We have apartment buildings and office buildings and malls. They are rotting. They're decaying. There are places for people who need to have a place to live. And they know this. But they're not going to house these people because they don't care. Not to mention, the minimum wage in Texas, if I remember correctly, is still $7.50. Is that right?
Yep. $7.25.
How insane. How insane. Rent for one bedroom apartment is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,600. How is one person going to afford rent in a one-bedroom apartment on $7.50? I have tried to apply to several jobs, and a lot of them are not paying more than maybe $8.50 an hour, maybe $10 an hour. Minimum wage now needs to be at least $20 an hour for someone to have a living wage. $7.50 is insane.
That's right.
It's ridiculous, and it boggles my mind every day how far behind the history we are right now.
That's right.
Dallas is supposed to be a modern city. And yet, so many people are still on the streets, and so many people are not being paid enough to get a one-bedroom apartment, the bare minimum. How many people here probably can't buy a house right now? And probably won't be able to buy a house. Maybe because everything is so messed up. The minimum wage needs to be raised. We need to use these empty buildings to house the homeless. Because what else are they going to be used for? We don't know. Use them for people. Thank you. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
I'm Gabriel Hernandez with the Dallas Plus Evictions and the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And going off what you just said reminds us that not only do we do work to stop evictions, not only do we do work to stop the sweeps, which is another violent form of eviction, we also have to fight gentrification.
That's right.
I used to live in West Dallas, and I had to move from a neighborhood that I love because I can't afford rent there anymore. Every year they add a new high-rise apartment across the street. Austin Apartments at Terrace Greens, I believe that's the full title of that place. I see it every day, but I used to live there and drive by. They got these ugly bulbs in the front painted green. They're hideous. They have 61 open vacant housing units right now. I looked this up a week ago. I can only imagine there's more. That comes out to about 88 available beds. Another apartment right down the street has about 20. And if you look at the history of development in Oak Cliff, 100% of new buildings built in the last year are 100% high-rise luxury apartments. So there is no option, there is no intent by the people in this building to actually provide any housing for people, any affordable housing. And the solution they come up with is a joke. Container houses, did y'all see this about container houses that are going to be available for the poor? That's going to account for 60% of their income at $930.
Yeah.
And you're going to gentrify poverty too now? Like I would just go ahead and live in a storage unit at that point. And I've known people who've done that. And you're just going to turn this into a new business venture.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And it comes down to the fact that it's the system that's the problem. It's capitalism that's the problem. And there's no way to fix this problem without dismantling that system.
That's right.
Capitalism creates the conditions for this. Everything has to be for profit. And because of that, they can't house people because it doesn't make them money. They have to move houseless communities because it's not pleasant for visitors to see. Every year, we see what happens at the state fair. Countless people are moved and shoved away so people from all around Texas and around the country can come and just throw their money into the state fair. And it's ridiculous. On that street in West Dallas, in Singleton, there are so many homeless people. We just go down that street, you'll see so many people who need housing, who need health care, who need food. And what they do is they build high-rise after high-rise after high-rise, bringing up property values. And people have to move. And I'm a renter, so I was the first one to leave. But people there, that is a community of families, of immigrant families. Everyone there is Salasa. Everyone there are my people. And they've been there for a long time. And a lot of those people aren't working. They're living off of Social Security. So something has to change, and the change comes from the people. You can't reform this system. You can't vote capitalism out. We have to take that power and we have to dismantle it. And this is what we're doing right now by connecting all these issues and talking to each other about how evictions are a housing issue, homelessness is a housing issue.
Are you going to save this live stream for later?
The most
Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
The most violent type of eviction you can think of, in my opinion, are the deportation of immigrants as well.
That's right.
It was not that long ago where how many people were sent back to Cameroon.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
Here comes the judge. We not.
We're angry.
What you angry about?
Right on.
Angry about evictions.
Here we go.
About them.
All power to the people. We don't talk to the oppressed. Here we go. All power to the people. I want to address.
Here's the judge.
Again, while we have the camera, here we go. Somebody grab this. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Can I stand there?
When the oppressor comes to talk to the oppressed people. Yeah, I don't even want to address it. I don't even want to talk to him. I have a message though, and I want to read it. You can come out here. You ain't got to hide outside the glass door streets. Come on out here. Come on out here. Eviction affects the young and the old. It affects the sick and the able-bodied. It does just not affect people in Seattle or New York or San Francisco. Cities that get a lot of play in our discussion of the housing critique. It affects people in Tulsa, Texas, and Dallas. If you look at tenants, you're left with the impression that the housing crisis is only a coastal crisis. If you look at the evictions, you're left with a much deeper and broader impression where the housing crisis is. You know who gets evicted? It's moms and children. That's who's getting put on the curb these days. The oppressors like Judge Thomas Jones and those that work for him are complicit in the demise of families and communities. They're complicit in putting people out on the curb, knowing that we have a pandemic of COVID-19. You're complicit in the death of families. No, you don't get to speak, because this is my courtroom today.
Okay.
Come out here and tell the process out.
That's right.
I want to tell you.
No, you don't tell us nothing. We tell you today. This is our courtroom. And this is why we got the press here today.
We gave
So tell the folk, no, I you got poor black people in your courtroom right now. Who you going to sign a piece of paper and put them on the curb? No, I don't want to talk to you.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't talk to the oppressor. I only talk to my equals, and you're not my equal. This is my courtroom today.
That's right.
This is my courtroom today. And you can see your lackeys out here all you want.
The people
This is
demand
my
that you
courtroom.
stop eviction.
This is my courtroom today. The poor and the oppressed
Keep laughing. You're
are
laughing.
the people that Judge Thomas Jones is sitting on the curb. And how do we handle that? We vote his ass out. What do? We vote his ass out. You vote his ass out. You don't send your lackeys out here to talk to us. This is our courtroom. We pay taxes here. So all those that are watching on Telemundo, and now there's a message.
I'm pretty sure the size sticker was still on his jeans, yes.
In Ernest Eugene Hunt Jr.
It was?
Slum landlords, all this stuff. I want this to be put on the media. Slum landlords. Latasha Starr, 4607 Jill Springs, Arlington, Texas. You evicted me with no reason. I'm part of this process. I'm a poor disabled black woman who came to this court after being terrorized, and that judge signed off on that eviction.
That's right.
How many other poor black women in this city have been put on the curb by men like Thomas Jones and slumlords like Latasha Starr, who resides in 4607 Jill Springs, Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Texas, 75606. You are a slumlord. And that is what black people in this country are having to deal with. The poor and oppressed are having to deal with slumlords and judges.
People are getting put out on the streets. And this judge is putting people out on the streets and using that money to buy new jeans that honestly don't even make his ass look that great.
And how do we get them out? We call them out. How do we get them out? We call them out.
Right.
How do we get them out?
We call them out.
How do we get them out?
We call them out.
How do we get them out?
We call them out.
How do we get them out?
We call them out.
And the people shall rise. But just know this. This court is setting out poor black women and families. December 31st, that moratorium is going to be up. 26,000 poor families will be on the curb, with their constables coming knocking on doors, taking doorknobs off, and putting people's stuff on the curb. That's domestic terrorism. That's terrorism right in your own home. Forget about Iran and Korea. You think about right here. We are under domestic terrorism. Families are being torn apart. Children are going to have to be separated. Communities are going to be devastated. Because there is complicity in these people that do not care about them. Do not care about us as a family and a community. But I say when it's time for election day, hold his ass out.
Yep.
Hold his ass out. All power to the people. The DSE will be here. That is the eviction will be here. And we will be back with a stronger number of people. All power to the people.
All power to the people. Yeah, so Thomas Jones came out and talked about $100,000.
Sorry.
We're working with tenants that are supposed to get some of that $100,000, and they said they haven't seen any of it. Oh, at Rolling Hills, they were told that by the property manager that, oh, it's like shoes, y'all can get some, all shoes. Like, she was like, oh, whatever, I like you, so I'm gonna give you, I'll get you in line for that. But none of the tenants there have seen it. None of the tenants there have seen any of that money, and we don't think they will. And another thing to what Danielle was saying, there's only one way to smash this system, that's organizing. That's what we've been doing with Balanced Obligation. We've been building tenant power, empowering tenants to organize their neighbors, to work with their neighbors, to build tenant unions, to struggle directly against the landlord by going to the press, by going marches to convoluted members' offices, following up the landlord, everything. There's so many different tactics that we can use, and we're still planning on using. So I just wanted to say that action's in the works, and we'll be out here. If anyone's getting evicted, just call us. Email us at DallasStopsEvictions@gmail.com. I don't know if it's a number off the top of my head, but you can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll work with y'all.
Let's
So
do
you
it.
guys
Somebody
are-
get a number. We got the press right now. Somebody get a number.
I got you.
Everybody else.
The number is 469-759-9764. Yeah, just reach out to us and we'll help. We'll go canvass your community. We'll talk to your neighbors alongside you. We'll empower you to be leaders in your community, to fight back against the landlords, the slumlords that are in there. We haven't really called them out much, but there's slumlords all in there to evict the people as well. And so, yeah, we're struggling against the landlords, and it's going to happen.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Down with the slum landlord.
Down with the slum landlord.
Down with the slum landlord.
Up with the people.
He has more.
Up with the people. Down with the landlord.
Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones, stop evicting us from our homes.
Texas really stands out as a state with a lot of cases and deaths associated with lifting their moratorium.
Marshall's here. The marshal's here.
I don't doubt it. Where?
In their car. To your left.
Ah. Could be word. And Marshall is ignoring us. Okay.
¿Qué vinieron a hacer aquí hoy? Estamos protestando contra la corte aquí. Hay un Jones. Aquí es donde hacen los desalojos que pasan. Aquí es donde sacan familias de sus casas, especialmente aquí en Dallas. Perdóname.
Hey, Eric, you want to talk about the demands we have?
Excuse me.
Stop the eviction, stop the free.
Good speech, by the way.
Thank you. This will be great.
I also feel legally obligated to let you know that everyone that was on stream listening to you just tell the judge off thinks that you are a badass. Yep. Well, it's in chat up a ways, but
What does it say?
they say they said they love you and that you're a real one.
Okay, you wanna? Here, I got it. It's just like, look at where the they start. It's not like at the beginning. The city? Yeah, yeah. It's just like
I came emotionally prepared to get wet. Don't worry about me.
I need to stretch my arm out anyway. No, literally, I've been holding my arm.
Good stop. Classic.
For now. My YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, my cat says hi. They meowed at my voice. Well, hello, Soup.
What is it?
Tell Chicken Noodle I said hello. 1 second. Muting stream.
lo que los terratenientes, los dueños, los propietarios, son los que están, ellos quieren seguir haciendo su dinero, pero la demás de la gente que queremos ver nosotros no podemos hacer nada, pero nosotros sí tenemos poder porque somos pueblos, y entonces, nomás con unirnos, podemos salir, podemos pelear, tenemos poder nosotros mismos, y eso es lo que estamos haciendo. Hay una organización aquí, Dallas Stop Evictions, Dallas Stop a los extranjeros, y sí, hay inquilinos ahí que se quieren involucrar a pelear contra quien sea, contra la persona que le está quitando su hogar. Ya te el nombre. Se pueden contactar con nosotros, ahorita os doy el número. El número para contactar es 469
So just in case you guys can't hear it, this guy is giving a Spanish overview of what we've been talking about for the Telemundo station.
Ya, eso es bueno.
¿Y qué él quería? ¿Qué es lo que él está buscando? ¿Hablar con ustedes?
Él quiere hablar con nosotros, pero pues nosotros decimos que no hay tanto, no podemos hablar si él es la persona que está firmando las órdenes para sacar a las personas de sus casas y nosotros no lo podemos cambiar confianza. Con eso no podemos hablar. Con personas que sí quieren cambio sí podemos hablar, pero con eso no podemos hablar. Nosotros venimos aquí para enseñarles nuestro poder que nosotros tenemos. No estamos aquí para hablarles. Nosotros queremos decir a todos los demás que están sufriendo lo que podemos hacer si nos organizamos.
Y al final de todo, ¿qué es lo que están buscando? Dicen que obviamente es para que vean dime a quién le quieren hablar, como quien dice, porque a él no, porque obviamente es el que no quieren hablar porque le están firmando la, pero a quién le quieren decir lo que quieren.
They want a guy with hiccups in front.
Hay dos personas principales, hay la demás gente, queremos que todos
Can you hold that temporarily?
pero también a la ciudad de Dallas. Ellos tienen el poder de poner
Hi, Protest Mom. It's Dan.
Doxing yourself is the #1 best thing to do right now, I assure you.
There are a lot of Dan.
It's drifting downward.
There we go.
There you go. Gimbals are cool, right?
Yeah. I need one of these. There you go.
You don't need one of these. Now you want Dan noodles.
Dan noodles.
Oh?
Huh?
You gonna give the people what they want?
I don't have noodles.
So my name is Ryan Amadio. I'm with Dallas Stop Evictions. This is Dallas Stop Evictions. We're a housing justice organization and a citywide tenants union dedicated to demanding safe, affordable, and permanent housing for everybody. In the case of evictions, in the case of housing insecurity, it goes against our demand of permanent housing for everybody, right? When people, in the COVID-19 pandemic, businesses right now with spikes in raises and cases, people are out of jobs, people are out of income, which puts them behind on rent. When they get put behind on rent, the chances of them ending the year is 90%. In this specific case, courthouse, right, with Judge Thomas Jones. And there's a reason for that, because landlords know that the chances of them winning their case is much higher, which incentivizes them to come and file the eviction. Now, this is directly linked to increased cases in COVID-19 deaths. Displacement and eviction has direct link to increased deaths in COVID-19. And the numbers are there to prove that. Studies show that Texas, which uplifted their moratorium in April, it was in April when they uplifted the moratorium, it stands out as a state with a lot of cases and deaths associated with lifting the moratorium. It's believed that in the neighborhood of 150,000 cases and 4,500 deaths that could have been prevented by maintaining the moratorium. Eric Johnson, Dallas County Judge Clay Lewis Jenkins, and all JP court judges, as well as the landlords, have blood on their hands. We demand that the City of Dallas and County Judge Clay Jenkins reinstate the issued orders advising the Dallas County Justices of the Peace to suspend eviction hearings and writs of possession for a minimum of 60 days from December 11, 2020 to prevent renters from being displaced. The city must stop all evictions because evictions destroy lives and they leave families broken. The city must cancel all rents, and landlords have already gotten their bailout from the government, but the working class and the renters are still waiting for their bailout. This is their bailout getting put out onto the street, onto the cold concrete. That's how the city bails us out. We must hold these slumlords accountable for the dangerous conditions that they force tenants to live in. The landlords must be held financially responsible for each day that they let even one tenant live in dangerous conditions. The city must seize all suites of the houses community and the already evicted community, right? Because eviction, if you don't have money and you're getting evicted, the chances of you having money to go into another place are slim enough, right? So you end up out onto the street. And when you end out onto the streets, that's a whole other animal of this game, where the city is harassing you daily, trying to give you tickets, arrest you for sleeping out on the concrete. Where else am I supposed to go? Where are we supposed to go, right? When all these buildings are sitting empty, when all these apartments are being built up and nobody's renting them out because they can't afford it, where are people supposed to go? That's what I want to ask once again. And Dallas Stops Evictions is demanding that the city put a cease to the suites to the housing community and house them in the thousands of vacant dwellings across the city. So we're Dallas Stops Evictions, right? We want to let the people out there know that although it's difficult right now with the moratorium in place to prevent and prolong your eviction, it's possible. It is possible. We've done it. As hard as it was, we've done it. There's resources out there in order. Right now, the moratorium expires December 31st, 2020, which is why we're demanding an extension to this moratorium. But with the current moratorium in place, there are avenues for you to go. If the landlord files an eviction through the court, you must make sure, call up the courthouses, give them your address, make sure that the landlord actually files the eviction to the court. Because what they do is they bully, they intimidate, they give fake eviction notices in order to scare you out of your house.
That's right.
Right? And so what you need to do is make sure that they're going to the proper route, and with that proper route means that the moratorium in place, which protects you as a renter who's lost income due to the coronavirus pandemic, to prolong your eviction until right now until December 31st, 2020. And with the power of the people, we're looking to extend that and expand that moratorium in order to cover and protect renters all across the city. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Dallas Stops Evictions. Our email is dallasstopsevictions@gmail.com, and our phone number is 469-759-9764. Please reach out to us. We will walk you through the eviction process, how to file this, how to fill out the moratorium declaration papers. We will let you know how to get a victory in your declaration period. You need to prove, you need to keep record of everything, right? Keep a paper trail of the eviction notices, of any contact with your landlord. Keep contact with them, as hard as that may be. Keep record of that. Keep record of it, because all of that might make or break you being kicked out onto the street. So please reach out to us. We're here to help. The city is not here to help. The city had, how much money was it? How much money do they have? They have millions of dollars left over that needs to be given out to renters, to rental assistance, and rental relief, and they're just sitting on that. And if the time expires and they don't use up all that money, then that money just goes into the pocket of the city. Right, and that's the kind of situation we're in. We demand the city protect the renters, protect the working class people. And we demand that Judge Thomas Jones stop all of this.
That's it.
All power to the people.
Hey,
all power to the people.
Did you want to say something on camera about what happened?
Ryan,
Because this is your opportunity. Hey, here. I'm trying to be for you.
Thank you. Gracias. And have you guys like chant? Yeah.
Jones, stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones.
We have someone who just got evicted.
Us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones.
Someone getting
Stop
evicted.
evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge
Literally
Jones.
while we're protesting evictions.
Us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones. Stop evicting us from our homes. Hey, Judge Jones.
Just got a bad for you.
Thank you.
Ryan's back here.
Just got a bad
Yeah, we can here.
My accent's all like, no, not American. I understood. You understood. I was like, yes, Selena, come on.
So for those who didn't catch it, there is someone who just walked out of the court that literally just got evicted while we're out protesting against evictions. So there's really no phrase for it other than that fucking sucks. This just kind of goes to prove what we've been talking about.
I'm glad the rain stopped.
Yeah. Doesn't make my heart hurt any less.
That's why we need a strength.
Oh, and of course, my hiccups fucking stop the minute the cameras stop.
Of course.
Of course.
So we're gonna try to get her situated in the situation with the CDC paper and everything. And so, so I think we should give her some support and just let her know that you're not by yourself, sis, all right? Right. You're not by yourself. And you're not by yourself. And like I said, let him get your paperwork for you to try to help you out as much as you can. It's hard right there. Very hard. You understand? When I saw you come up, it's like what we're trying to do right now is
Yeah, we're giving resources right now.
yeah, when we go to these courts, they're going here usually by themselves. What we're working on right now is to make sure that everybody in the courtroom to walk through that process so you don't have to do that by yourself. Hey, somebody got the paperwork? Cause she gotta go. She gotta get back to the
Maria's going to get the paperwork.
Okay. She gotta get the paperwork. So, she's gonna get you the CDC paperwork. And Ryan, you'll be able to help her fill it out?
I'll be able to help you fill it out. We'll go file it right now. Okay. There you go.
This man comes prepared. And in less than 2 minutes after she walked out from the court, Dallas Stops Evictions is ready with paperwork and will be helping her file all the necessary paperwork needed. I don't know what goes into it, but that is our local anti-eviction organization in action. Real Johnny on the spot, actually.
So the young lady's going inside to fill out her paperwork for CDC appeal.
It's a CDC moratorium. Yeah.
So that's what the paperwork is. It's CDC paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay.
For an appeal.
I'm making sure to let everyone know exactly what Dallas or DSE is doing to help.
Yeah.
I wonder too, like, maybe one thing we can do is like stations or have more, even if they're smaller, like actions here where we get people going in.
Well, see, one of the things that I want to do is that I want to actually. Now, I really want to actually sit with those women when they go to court and walk through that. I'm trying to do that because when I was in the Caribbean, I'm what they call an abuse advocate, and I'm trained to sit in the courtroom with women, like when they go to the trip, like when they fill out police reports, rape reports. I'm trained to do that. And so, like I said, when I went inside, I had people sitting with me. She didn't have that support.
Sorry, I'm hard of hearing and I did you say you're in a
Yeah.
That, like, people can get evicted for making
They can't even sleep in their cars. It's against the law to sleep in your own car. Public transport.
It is?
It is. I had a police officer knock on my window when I was taking a nap in my car after I was doing a fire thing, giving water to people that had their house on fire. So I took a nap at 3 in the morning, and the police knocked on my window and says, "It's an ordinance in Dallas that you can't sleep in your car." I said, "This is my own car? I can't sleep in it?" He said, "Yeah, it's because of homelessness." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me. That's like the worst thing you can send to me." So I looked it up, and it is an ordinance for the city of Dallas, but not the suburbs of Dallas. So if you're evicted, you're still out of luck with even if you had a car.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people go park in Walmart parking lots or McDonald's.
Yes.
You know, you see a lot of that, and we're going to see more and more of that. More and more people.
What's the moratorium stop?
She got to help. He knows how to fill the paperwork out.
That's fine.
She can't fill her paperwork out inside.
They say, that's not the place
Stay out in the
to
cold, fill it out.
Yeah, they won't let her fill the paperwork out inside, so they are making her stand out in the cold to fill it out.
Yeah, I think Russell's actually going there after this. Then I'll talk to Russell.
Okay. Going where?
There's a house listed encampment, and we got some water that we're going to because we also
I didn't even know we had it.
Okay. I've also just been following stuff online.
Yeah. Stop, Dallas stops the eviction.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that you're the one in charge, or you think that?
He's the one in charge.
My name is Pamela Anderson first.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm blessed and highly favored. This judge right here, Judge Jones, this man is not, he should not be a judge. He's crooked. And I can prove it because I have it in paper. I have a thing back from the Field Court of Appeals. Talk to
this gentleman where he's filming.
Because he enforced an illegal eviction. My rent was paid.
Talk to him right there.
Yeah.
Let him know who you are, sis, so we can get that information out. And then talk to that gentleman right there. He'll be able to help you also.
Did you give her one of those cards?
Yeah.
So, can you tell me your name one more time? And
it's Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson. And
okay.
the Judge Jones. This man sat on Judge Nash's bench. And I got the paper. I'm gonna get it out and show you to give on my phone.
Okay.
I can show you everything I'm telling you is very true. I had to file by myself to the Fifth Court of Appeals, and when I got my ruling back from the Fifth Court of Appeals, the corona hit. Okay, but the Fifth Court of Appeals has made a detail that outlined it, that they violated my rights as far as a renter here in the state of Texas and the Texas code, with the property code, because again, I done looked at this to myself, and I filed that paperwork myself. Despite the lady that worked, she worked over here at Judge Nash's court, in Lancaster. She used to work for Judge Jones. Despite me going there and showing them their own paperwork as far as the Texas Penal Code or property thing, they still did it. But they can't erase that. Like I told the Fifth Court of Appeals, wrote the property code things out, everything, and it actually took a picture of the rules, the regulations, the laws, right there at the law library. And then that's when the Fifth Court ruled back, and they explained to me in the letter that the reason why they didn't catch it before was because of the fact it never went through the system. This man never even signed no papers, so therefore it shouldn't have went to Judge Paula Perez. She's a crooked judge too. All the attorneys that I contacted, they all turned me down, and their reason for turning me down was the fact that they had already represented these people, the landlord, Kathy and Kelly Weed. I was assaulted. Even the Southeast Dallas Police Department, I'm filing a suit against them as well, because they knew that these people were not even supposedly on their own property. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here 2 years. You know, I had no idea about these people. I have proof that they have been frauding the Dallas Housing Authority. And when I'm telling you this, sir, I'm not just making up stuff as I go. All this actually took place. And I have it in paperwork, black and white, to prove it. And I need help. No one will help me.
So, that man right there in the Mavericks? Yeah, the blue mask. Yeah, the blue mask, top of the stairs. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that leads Dallas Stop Evictions. I just wanted to make sure that we had it on camera. That way I can upload it to YouTube and it's saved forever and they can use it for their reference.
Thank you.
But he's the guy who leads Dallas Stop Evictions, so he's going to be able to help you with all the paperwork, the CDC paperwork. I'm just kind of a local journalist, so I don't know exactly what's available, but I thank you for telling me your story.
Yeah, I mean, this is corrupt. This is, for me, it's beyond corruption. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. You know,
and I moved here about 5 months ago, so there's a lot that I'm still learning as well. So
Texas needs to do something about their protection for the tenants as well. You know, I'm for the law. If a person, because there are people like that, the deadbeats, they won't pay their rent. You know, so yeah, allow that landlord, if they're proper landlords, not slumlords, but allow the landlord, you know, to make their money too. You know. But don't evict a person when their rent is paid just because you don't like it. That's against the law. You can't do that. You know, don't do people like that. I'm disabled. You know, this lady, she had my car towed, all this. Turned my water off. Signed papers stating, or affidavit stating that I had moved into this place and been there 4 months, and I'd only been there a month.
So I know that there are other people helping with utility shutoffs, but I can't remember exactly who.
Oh no! Now it's they're on back. They're back on now.
Oh, they're back on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, there's some judges they're going according to the law, but this judge, no. Paula Perez, Fourth Court of Appeals, no. They're people that are lining their pockets.
Yep.
They're lining their pockets at the expense of us.
Of people like you.
Yes.
So, yeah. Him.
No. I was explaining to him that. He's a crooked judge, and I don't have no problem telling him that. You know,
Well, that made me feel useful. Communist news propaganda. Yeah. The Liberation, the Libertarian newspaper. The people demand jail. For killer cops, nothing less. You may keep it.
Thank you.
You may have it.
Do you have video when I cussed the judge out? I wanted to see it one time.
Yes, I'm actually recording live, so I don't really have a way to go back and show it right now. But after this is over, I can give you my contact information, because I know we've met a few times at a few protests, and I can give you the link to either my Twitch or my YouTube, because I'm going to put this on YouTube later, especially so that we can have what she said on tape.
That was so funny. I guess you don't get cussed out every day. I guess the judge don't get told, I don't want to talk to you every day.
Yeah, just kind of running the fight.
Yep. They loved you for that.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
I know it's not libertarian. I was joking.
In the field court of appeals in my face. They validated everything I think, like I told them. And my next step was going to be for the Supreme Court. Because that's wrong. You don't evict a person and they rent is paid. That's right. And the state and the county, the property code of Texas states that anytime a landlord loses an eviction, they got to wait 6 months before they can file another eviction for non-payment of rent. And if they do before that, that's harassment. And you go right back. You understand? I'm not taking somebody told me, I think I read in the property code book when I say. You hear me? So how is you going to enforce the law? Why do you keep this man on the bench? That's right. When you know for a fact he's crooked. That's right. You know what I'm saying? This man is in the whole process. That's right. He said he talked to some lady and condoned her about her daddy dying. Right. And he can go back out there and he including these people's favor. That's right. Because they paid him. That's right. They paid him. That's right. Like I told him, I'm not going nowhere. That's right. I'm not going nowhere, and guess what? I'm still on the same property. That's right. Woo, fight. Still there. That's right. And I'm bringing him down. He's time to come down. Bring him down.
We're bringing him down.
That's
yeah.
That's why I come down. That's right. And I'm coming them. I can't think of that lady name. She bulldog though. A gay lady. Short hair, dark. Huh? She coming down too. Get her. She coming down too. Get her too. All of them ain't bad. But that one in there, yes sir. He gotta go. That's right. He gotta go. That's right. That's right. Him, Paula Perez. That's right. Another judge up in the court, the Supreme Court. I mean not the Supreme Court. The county court. That's right. Number 4, she crooked too. That's right. All of them got to go. All of them got to go. Don't go over there to that Dallas legal services over there in Dallas. Over 30. Right. They crooked too. They all getting paid. All of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am. I had attorneys tell me that the reason why they couldn't represent me because they've been representing Kathy Weed as a conflict of interest. That's right. I would think it is if you getting paid by them. That's right. To put it out. They crooked. You know what I'm saying? I got all my receipts. Judge Baylor. That's right. From Melissa Baylor, court number 2. Right. That's a good judge. You hear me? She fair. Judge Nash, they're good judges. They fair. But that Paula Perez, Judge Jones, personally I know. Personally. They crooked. You hear me? They crooked. I've been here 2 years. And every time I dealt with this man, even with other people, I come here and accomplish them. He the same way. If whoever got the money, that's right. That's who we gonna go with. Yeah. And that's wrong. Texas people, y'all need to stand up. That's right. Stand up.
That's right. Matter of fact, you need to give her a megaphone so they can hear us. Get on that microphone. Get on there.
Stand up. Stand up, Texas people. Fight. This judge is crooked, and there are a whole lot of others crooked. That's right. Explain to me how. How do you evict a person, especially during a pandemic? That's right. And then how do you evict a person when you got slumlords? That's right. You hear me? Slumlords. The Texas Property General Code clearly states, I wish I brought that paper so y'all can read it for yourself, that a landlord's responsibility is to provide you with housing that is safe and that is secure and sanitized. You hear me? This judge, he gonna go with the money, y'all. That's right. Every time. Cause they make money every time they file a writ. That's right. When they file a writ, y'all, they get paid. If you come here to try to file and try to get your money back, because you can't do that. It's in the Texas Penal Code. That's a new law. It came in 2000 and this is 19, right? 20. It came in 2019. You hear me? It's there. When anytime you come here, they're gonna tell you that you gotta pay $230 some, depending on what they choose. That money goes to them. You know what the lady told me what happened? Because I asked, well, what's the process? Oh, we just go and give them a letter and tell them that they gotta pay you. Are you serious? But you'll come out and sit my things out?
That's right.
Do you understand, guys? I'm not telling y'all something that I'm making up. I got video of this. Yep. I got video where when the police officers, just the Dallas police officers, come out for an assault, like for instance, Kathy Kelly Weed, both him and his wife, Kathy, they're on drugs. You hear me? City of Dallas inspector came out, not Section 8, but the City of Dallas inspector came out. And she told me, showed it to me right. She said they haven't even paid on property taxes here in Dallas for a number of years. She said, do you know so-and-so? I said, I don't know who that is. Later on, learned out it was a dead brother. Dead people can't conduct business.
That's right.
They can't. Section 8 housing. If y'all could see the conditions of your taxpaying money and my taxpaying money that they're paying for these Section 8 units, y'all would be so upset. Way more upset than what you are now. You understand? They getting their pockets lined. Moses, Section 8. You know what this man said to me? He said, Kathy, is that it again? I mean, what do you mean? And what he was talking about was, she leased me a unit. One, it was not registered with the City of Dallas. Two, she leased it to Section 8. And Section 8 was paying her. I'm not on Section 8. Never been on Section 8. I'm not doubting the ones that do, because everybody needs help. But how do you do that? How do you continue to allow landlords to lease out property, one, that's not even up to standard, two, it's not even the person that's in there, but that Section 8 paying them? Come on now, and they're aware of it. They tell me, because I call Section 8 myself. Ma'am, are you on Section 8? No, I'm not. Well, then there's nothing you can do. What do you mean? My taxpayer money is paying them to help y'all pay them. What do you mean? Well, it's going to take the people that's on Section 8 to say something. No, they're you got a unit, right? You're in that unit. Subcontract out to him. So you getting paid too. Do you understand? It's got to stop. And it stops here. With y'all, with us. Yeah. With us. They screaming when I say they, I'm talking about landlords, slumlords, because there's some good landlords out there. It is. Landlords, slumlords. There's a difference. Do you understand? They got landlords out there, the only thing they care about is getting paid.
That's right.
This woman told me, Kathy Weed, before I even met her.
Kathy Weed.
Before I even met her, she's a drug addict.
That's right.
You hear me? I got that from her own husband. Because he was trying to have sex with me. You understand? I don't do white men. I'm not prejudiced. Don't get me wrong. I don't do white men, and I don't do men that have a woman or a wife. I'm not going to come second to nobody but God. You understand? So that's what made them mad. A lot of these lawyers, I ain't saying about this man, but a lot of them, they getting paid too. The state of Texas needs to change their laws. There are laws to protect the slumlords. There are no laws to really protect us. No laws to protect the tenants. Because everybody don't be lying when they say that the landlords is not doing their job as far as keeping those houses, those units up to court. I had toilet water, you guys, running over my kitchen table. They would not fix it. The window in the kitchen, if you blew too hard, it would fall out. I'm a female, single, disabled. You understand? It's supposed to be right. The Dallas Fair House, I can't think of that name because it's a real funny name. They crooked too. Everything I'm telling y'all is right. It's in writing and it's on their paperwork. It's got the Texas seal on it. When I filed to a field court of appeal, I brought that to their attention. How can you tell me that y'all making laws that y'all are not even enforcing yourselves?
Absolutely. That's right.
Where's the justice in that?
Ain't no.
Like I told them, I'll tell you what a justice is. It means just us.
Ain't no justice.
Just us.
Like
Meaning
Mr. Brown
them.
said, just us.
Just us.
Just us.
We the people. We tell the government what to do.
That's right.
We're not supposed to allow the government to tell us what to do, what we're going to take and what we're not going to accept.
That's right.
Stand up.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Because you got a higher being, a higher power, God, that will walk with you.
That's right.
Don't do it, guys. I'm telling you. When he come out here, or if he can't come out here, he probably a coward. He probably won't.
He did.
He did.
He probably won't come back out here now.
He won't.
Because I can look him in his face and tell him, you hear me?
He won't.
I know you're dirty.
He won't.
And repeat what I heard him tell another Quail Hollow, St. Augustine, and Cyan. Y'all familiar with that area?
Yeah.
I'm the reason why they got new owners. Are you understanding me? When I first got here from Atlanta, I told them, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. You got ladies there with little babies living with holes in the wall, rain coming down. If it wasn't for you, ma'am, them baby, you wouldn't have nowhere to stay. Then you doing drugs around a baby? Are you serious? Are you serious? The people that was running Quail Hollow, it was more drug dealers over there than the law allowed.
That's right.
I'm talking really walking around with they semi-automatic weapons.
Yeah.
And it's so bad, it's so obvious that the Dallas Police Southeast Division officers, they were aware. You know why I know this for sure? Because they came out and asked me. And then the second time they came out, they told me, ma'am, the first time, ma'am, is there anything you want to tell us? No. Because I know y'all see the same thing I see.
Right.
The second time they came, you know what they told me? Ma'am, you might want to think about leaving from over. I'm not going nowhere. You know what they did? I stayed right on the front. They posted up right there to protect me. Like I told them, you ain't got to protect me. I got somebody that'll protect me. And I was right there until I made sure. And everything I'm telling y'all, it's on text. You hear me?
Right.
I got it. I can prove it. Stood right here before Judge John, first time I met him. And he told the lady, well, she ain't done nothing. Her rent is paid. So what are you talking about? You know, I just can't put the lady out. But he still tried to.
That's right.
That's
You
right.
understand? He still tried to.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And then a year later, I find myself right back in front of this man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I really know for sure, yeah, he's crooked.
Yeah.
He's crooked. You don't elect nobody like that. And then when you see the corruption, why y'all think the coronavirus is here? Huh? Why do you think it's here? Why do y'all think the coronavirus is here?
Nobody's done anything about
Nobody's done anything about it. Let me let y'all in on secret. Go and find it on YouTube for yourself. It's called the origins of the coronavirus. Do you hear me? You will see Barack, Nixon, not Nixon, what's that one name? The one that got the shoe thrown at him? Bush. You'll see all of them. You hear me? You'll see all of them. And you can look at it and tell it's not something that somebody put together. This is real. They knew. They knew. Think back for a minute, you guys. Y'all remember when they were showing all them different coffins all over the world in different states? Everybody wonder what they are? What you think they did with them? What you think they did with them? This is not like a control thing. It's a population control. Us, meaning them. Trump, the same way. And I don't care about nobody being a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, because I don't support neither one of them.
Right on.
They're all demons.
Yep.
They're all
Right
demons.
on. Right on.
They getting rich off of us, off of our backs.
Yep.
That's why this big charade is going on, guys. Wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, y'all. My rent is paid. Where God put a lady in my life on the same property. Listen to me. An Indian lady. You hear me? I'm still in that same property. Mr. Weed, Kathy Weed, they were bound off their own property from years prior. Where the lady come over there, she come over there to talk to the lady about her husband, who likes black women, by the way, y'all. The old saying, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
He like the dark meat. Speak true.
You hear me? That's true. For real though. That's true. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
He like the dark
Once you go black, you ain't going back. You hear me?
Dark meat. Dark meat with
She go over there and try to tell this woman, I wasn't there, because like I said, I came from Atlanta. I only been here 2 years this past July. And that woman drugged her and him. So they got banned from their own property. Southeast Division. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys. My journey that God has given me from there all the way back to here is real. What they say, the thirst is real? Yes, it is. We got polices out there. They're nothing more than little gangs walking around with badges.
Right.
You understand? Right. Do y'all realize if you want to be a police officer for Dallas, you need to C average level? Did you know that? And pass the health test.
So nothing.
The majority of the police officers here in Dallas, and again, y'all look at my face, so if something happened to me, y'all will know why. The majority of the Dallas Police Department, they're the kingpins. Ask yourself this question. Why is it you can't go to the store having somebody flagging you down to buy dope? And then you got a police car sitting across the street. And in some instance, you got the police sitting right there. I'll tell you why, because they're getting paid too. How do I know that? Because years ago, before I left Dallas 13 years ago, I sat in the car with one and smoked weed, y'all. Y'all listening to me? Are you listening? I dated one for 7 years. Here. You understand? And when they realized I had a very big mouth, meaning I'm outspoken, because I slapped him a couple of times, him and his partner, in their uniforms, in the car. She's a women slapper. She's a cop slapper. Yes, sure am. She's a cop clapper. Sure am.
Yep.
Sure am.
Right on.
They just like me and you. They only got different job titles. That's it. When someone worse than us.
Yeah.
Because Tatum, his partner, was a stone cold alcoholic driving around the police car. You understand? Solomon. I'm calling their names. That's who I smoked the weed with in his car. You hear me? Tatum's mama had a drug house. You hear me? On my journey, when I say my journey, what I went through, what God showed me with my own eyes, I went somewhere out on Simmons. There's a hotel, that's all I can remember. And I danced. Me and other girls did. For the Dallas Police Department. While they were on duty, y'all, out by White Rock. They got their little stash house out there. Where they do things that they lock us up for. Or tell us it's bad. And I'm not making this up, guys. Hear me clearly. They don't care nothing about your race. They don't care nothing about, where high fives you done been in school. None of that. What they care about is how they can keep you and shut you up. I got one right now that's stuck to mine. When I say my record, meaning my existence. You hear me? He got kicked off the Dallas Police Department force while I was in Atlanta. I'm going to tell you how shocking it was to me. He called me out the blue one day and asked me, how you filed for unemployment? I'm like, what are you talking about? I just bust out laughing. He told me, if you didn't see it, it was on CNN. When I got back to Dallas, I was just happening to going through YouTube and saw the whole thing. He's a coward. Very arrogant, very cocky. The whole time I was with him, you guys, I watched him with my own eyes grab what they call informers, had him go steal something for him. Are y'all listening to me? I'm telling y'all this is the truth. Now, don't get me wrong, all of them ain't bad. But the ones that I unfortunately got a hold to, they were. All but one. And they ran him off the force.
That's what they do.
They ran him off the force. If I told y'all some of the things I saw with my own eyes with the Dallas Police Department, the Atlanta Police Department, Mississippi Police Department, y'all would think I was really done.
Alright, I gotta place a work phone call really quick, so I'm gonna be muted for just a sec, guys. I apologize. And we're back.
On the highway by the zoo. He pulls up and he was actually the officer that was dispatched that call. But he, unfortunately for him, ran into the lady and told the woman he was on another call. And that call he told her he was on, it was her. And just the fact, the mere fact that he pulled off when she told him he got a gun. Who does that? He took the fall for it because he was so dirty till they couldn't take him down. They had to wait till something happened. You know, where they could be justified in taking him down. He lost his job. He lost his job. Which is good for him. Like I tell him, you ought to be glad because somebody could have killed you. You know? Karma always come back around, y'all. Always. There are officers out here, they take these jobs because they're cowards, first of all. Understand that. And then there are officers out here that take those jobs because they want to do right by people. They want to protect us. But back to him. He needs to go. All crooked judges need to go. Like I say, we the people. Stand up for our rights, y'all. One voice ain't gonna do it. There's power in numbers and there's power in knowledge. It is. It is.
All power to the people.
Power to the people. Yeah. Don't let them divide us by our race. Because it ain't about that.
It ain't.
Because you cut your arm, you going to bleed red. I cut mine, I'm going to bleed red. If somebody hurt you, you going to feel pain. I'm going to feel that same pain. You hungry or your baby hungry, we going to go through the same thing. Them the ones. You know why they taking so long? Because they got money. We don't. Do y'all say Canada? Them people, those citizens over there, they get a $2,000 stimulus check every day.
And free healthcare.
And free healthcare, that's right. I forgot that part, yeah. We're America. We're the land of free. You understand? Other countries come here. Y'all getting this? Other countries come here. But we got more people dying than anything. Dallas is number one.
More people jailed.
Right. Dallas is number one. For the state of Texas. We're number one in deaths right now. On a daily basis. Not monthly, not weekly, but on a daily basis. This ain't no joke. You know, this ain't no joke. I know I got my mask out because I want y'all to hear me. But when you walk into a facility, a store, it's the law now. Somebody ain't got their mask on. Y'all probably see me on Walmart. Because I put Walmart on the Glen House, I put them on blast every time I go up there. Every time I go up there. That's your employee. You at the door, monitoring, but everybody in the store is an employee. Y'all don't got y'all mask on. I don't want to come down here and get sick. You understand what I'm saying? And you're not saying nothing to the customers coming here. You can't because you lead by example. It says the law. Wear your mask. Say something to somebody. Ask them. Put your mask on. This ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because you could kill me. Or worse than that. You can give it to me and then I take it back to somebody else. Because there are people that's walking around here that are carriers, but it don't affect them, y'all. And I'm not telling y'all something just to be saying. I'm telling y'all what God loves. That's the truth. That's the truth. How devastating it'll be for you to realize that you was the one that fixed your baby or your grandmama or your mama, your brother, your sister. Come on. Come on, y'all. Come on.
Did you get one of our cards?
Yeah, I think I dropped it on the ground. Yeah.
Get in contact with us. Reach out to us. We're on social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay, I will.
We want to start, we definitely need somebody like you who's vocal.
Yeah, I don't have no proof. The truth is the truth.
Right.
The truth is the truth. You can't deny the truth.
This history will let us know who's right and wrong.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So.
Pamela Anderson. Just like Baywatch. Pamela Anderson. So nobody can forget my name. Pamela Anderson.
My name's Ryan. We appreciate you so much.
I'm going to give you my number too, so you can call me.
All right. Looks like this this protest is winding down. So I'm gonna have a conversation with the Dallas Stop Evictions guy. But thanks everyone for tuning in. It was interesting. It was kind of chill. Not really much happened. Tomorrow is the big one. We are going to be going back to Weatherford, Texas at 3. That's the place where I almost got shot. Fights broke out last time. Lots of Confederate flags everywhere. So that's what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. So I hope you'll join us then. That's going to be the big statue protest. Once again, that is going to be at 3 Central. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will see you next time. Oh, good night, kisses.